good with cameras? All good? Okay, Coach, go ahead.
Well, always good to see you guys, whatever day of the week it is today. What is it, Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. Thank you, Jesus, for another day of life, and appreciate you guys always taking the time. It's been a lot going on the past, whatever it is, week and a half since winning the championship game. And a really special time for our football program. You win the championship game, field storming, goalpost in the river, third seed in the playoff. Able to go to the Heisman with Ashton last week, and as we prep to whoever we play, SMU or Penn State, it's been fun going through our team. Obviously, it's a crazy landscape in college football, a lot going on, but I'm proud of our team. And that's been my big message to our players and our coaches. What got us here is not focusing on all the other stuff outside this building, from all facets, coaches, players, everything going on. It's focused on our work, focused on what matters. And it's us working our tails off to make sure we play our best game on December 31st in the Fiesta Bowl. Whoever shows up, we got to play our best. We know our best is enough, but our best is required. But it's been fun going through with our team. We've had some good practices, good training sessions. Got some guys banged up that we got to get healthy, get back, get rolling. We're very confident that they will be, and excited to keep pushing forward. So with that, open it up for questions.
Are you pretty confident in terms of the transfer portal that you'll at least have everybody till after the game, or is there still a chance that how nervous are you about that whole thing?
Yeah, I feel confident in our guys, BJ, that our guys that are projected to play in the game, that we'll have them throughout the playoff.
I know the Arizona State coach said there's other guys that are leaving. He's still letting them play in that game. What's kind of your philosophy on a guy that wants to leave?
Yeah, I take case by case, BJ. There's some guys that the roster is being shrunk to 105. You're going through those and I'm going to meet with every single player on our team. Started last week, and I'm almost finished with our team. We'll finish in the next couple of days of exactly where they are, what's going on. Some of those are easy conversations. Some of those are hard. I believe in telling every player the truth. And so some of our players are going to go in the portal to go find a way they can play more. And it's an open conversation with them on what that looks like. I'm going to give all those players opportunities to stay on this team and play through the playoff run, because I believe they've earned that. They've been on this team to this point. Some of them aren't going to, some will. I'm going to leave that up to them, but I'm going to give them all opportunities to stay on the team and finish it out through the playoff.
Those are guys you're telling them you really don't have a spot for them next year?
Just depends. It's a mix of both. Like I said, there's a lot of different conversations, BJ, that I'm having with all our players. And I take it case by case, because I want to help these young men grow here. If this is not the place for them to grow and be the best version of themselves, for some of these guys, they just want to play. They want to find a place where they can play and have more of a role in the football team than it is going to be here. I want to help them, and I want them to be able to finish this out with their team if they want to.
I asked you in Arizona, or in New York, but how do you? You lost a backup quarterback. Penn State's lost a backup quarterback. You're about to play in the biggest game in a long time, and yet guys are having to decide right now if they want to stay or leave. What possibly can be done about this?
Yeah, BJ. I've talked to a lot of head coaches and going through this time, and to be honest, I don't really have the answer for it. It's a very interesting time from the championship game with the break you have to when you play. Transfer portal's open. Coaches are getting job offers. There's just a lot of things pulling at our team. And to your point, BJ, in lieu of the biggest game we've had all season is this Fiesta Bowl coming up and entering a new season, which is playoff season. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer of what to change. I know it's busy. I know there's a lot of conversations I'm involved in, because I'm going to meet with, like I said, all our players, our staff, everybody as the season enters into the playoff run. We're not done, but there's a lot of different teams that are kind of already moved on to next season and hiring staffs and trying to find players to fit their roster. So there's a lot of things pulling at I know our team, our building, how to fix it going forward. I maybe got some opinions, not going to speak on those now, but it is what it is. And just like anything for me, that's what's happening. I want to attack it and do the best I can to make sure I'm intentional with these conversations. I'm intentional with our staff and our players of where we're at, where we're growing to. But it's definitely a lot of moving parts right now, BJ, a lot of conversations and how to fix it going forward. I know I don't have the answer to that, but I want to make sure we do it the right way for our team.
Randolph and Carrion both started the championship game. What percentage do you think back in game shape were they, and where do you hope and think they can become the game?
It's a good question, Bob. They missed almost the entire season prior to. For Roger, the Wyoming game was able to play limited and then for Mace, the Oregon State game going into the championship game. So it'd be hard for me to give you a percentage. Definitely not 100% game ready just because of the time they were out. But we're going to use this time prior to kickoff on the 31st to get them ready to as close as we can.
Just team-wide, how nice has it been for guys to have the opportunity to get out of weekly game prep and rest and recover a little bit?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's huge for coaches and players to get healthy, to focus on. I mean, last week was finals week. So we had 2 practices, but a huge point of emphasis was to finish strong in the classroom too. I mean, these are student athletes. I want them to be able to finish strong in the classroom. This week, school's out, so we can focus a lot on making sure they're getting healthy, the treatment, the training room, the weights. And then we're going to get 3 good practices in this week too, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, but it's a big deal. I mean, you have a 13-game run. And like I've talked about before, we have been in playoff football since we kicked off in Georgia. Like, that's been the mentality of this team. That's the razor's edge we've had to live on. And so being able to take some time, not too much, but be able to refocus on self-scout ourselves. Okay, what are we good at fundamentally, technically? What are we not? What do we need to clean up? And then for our players to be able to get them healthy, get them fresh, and grow the things that we looked at through the first 13 games that we need to improve on. So it's been awesome. We got a long way to go. This has been a good week. We had a really good practice yesterday. Need another really good one tomorrow just to continue to grow ourselves. And we're game planning both Penn State and SMU. We're going to have preliminary game plans on both of them. And we're practicing some of that stuff too, both teams. Then whatever comes Saturday, whoever wins that game will obviously pinpoint that focus.
Spencer, you talked last week a little bit about, the Fiesta Bowl being your introduction to Boise State and, kind of the reason you came to the camp here. I think it was 2015. You said, 2 years later, you're being hired. How'd that whole process come about with Coach Harsin? And did you ever imagine back then that it would lead you on this wild ride that you're on now?
Yeah, I think, moments, especially in sports and college football in particular, if you're not, I'm not from Boise, Idaho. I didn't grow up watching every single game of the Broncos, but I was privy to watch the big ones, the Fiesta Bowls, like the whole nation was. And so those are the moments that you remember because those are the moments that I was watching, that I was focused on. And so being able to, meet these coaches back then, to see them in these biggest stages, win these games, Coach Harsin, Coach Pete, who's become, we become really close. And then fast forwarding now to being able to play in that, Fiesta Bowl. Obviously it's a different game now, being that's a playoff game. But it's surreal. It's awesome. But what is so different from the years prior, and this is the big message to our team and our staff and everybody, this is not the last game. In years prior, that was the last game. Now we are entering a whole new season. We are in playoff season now. We are going to be a part of 7 other teams that are left standing. And it's a whole new season. Like, everyone's goal is to go win a national championship now. We're going to focus on our work and what we do. But that's a whole new landscape that wasn't a part in 2014, 2010, 2007 that is now attached to this. And that is our focus, to play our absolute best football on the 31st. And so, but being able to, the first time I ever watched Boise State play was in a Fiesta Bowl. And I'm sure I'm not alone unless someone was born and raised this area. I'm sure a lot of people came to know about the Broncos through watching one of those Fiesta Bowl wins. And, I'm so honored and blessed for our team to be a part of the 31st coming up here and being able to play in that Fiesta Bowl.
You hopeful maybe a Tubner, maybe a Sire, maybe somebody else, Coach, can maybe give it a go on the Fiesta?
Yeah, very, very hopeful, Johnny. Tubes is be able to go through a lot of practice, size close. And so with really 2 weeks from today's kickoff, it's going to be close, but really hope those guys are able to be a part of it.
Coach, for the last 13 weeks, you've known who's on Saturday. How odd is it preparing for one of 2 potential opponents?
Yeah, it's different, and this is a new landscape for FBS. And so there's not a lot of guys to talk to in regards to, hey, when you were in this same, situation, what did you do? Picked people's brains on kind of their thoughts on what they would do. And that's why we've kind of gone about it as, first off, we're going to self-scout ourselves. At the end of the day, we have to be a better football team on the 31st to be able to play our best. That's first and foremost. Then, from a coaching standpoint and the players, we're going to break down both teams. Both teams are really good. we're going to find out who wins on Saturday, but we're going to have preliminary game plans on both and a way to make sure the game plan doesn't get stale on either side. So the focus is going to be about us growing, us improving these fundamentals, techniques, or schemes that haven't executed the way we want in all three phases. And we're going to make sure, like our guys, these first couple of days, we're focused on Penn State. Here in a day, we're going to flip the switch and we're going to focus on SMU. So our guys are continually not losing that edge they have that they prep with, because that's what's gotten us here.
You guys like meet as a staff or anything to watch that, or are you gonna be at home with your kids on your lap? Or,
We're going to watch it at home. I went back and forth on that. BJ, we were thinking about doing it as a team. It has been very busy for me, for our staff, for our players, even with being no game. And so, all the way up to, we're practicing Friday. We got meetings Friday. We got recruiting Friday. So Saturday, after recruiting and some of that stuff's done, going to give the staff the rest of the day, guys, watch at home, players watch at home, and then we'll have a practice on Sunday.
Spoke to about an hour ago. Jay and KCVB published that the school's in works for a new contract for you. Can you speak at all to any of that?
No, guys, it's not something I'm focused on right now. I've been asked about a new contract for me a couple different times. My biggest focus is this game and to take care of our staff. We have the best staff in the nation. With success comes other schools that want to hire our coaches. No different than they want to get our players. Like, that's the reality of when you have success and you go 12-1. So my biggest focus is our staff. And I've had great talks with JD about our staff salary pool and where we are, where we're growing. That is the biggest push right now.
Speaking of staff, the offensive coordinator position, is that something that you hope to figure out by the time the bowl game starts, or what's the timeline like that on?
Yeah, I've made a decision on what I'm going to do with it. Not that I'm going to make public till this season is done, but the decision's been made.
Max Cutforth, QB2. Is there maybe any type of game plan to make sure he's ready? Are you confident he's ready? I know Coach Cooper is not in the room anymore either. That's a pretty big deal, QB2. How confident are you in Cutforth? Yeah,
very confident in Max. As the third string quarterback throughout this season, he wasn't able to do a lot, right? Going through the season, it's the number one, the number two, and those are the majority of the reps you get. But Max was still able to get some reps through season. Dirk's done a good job keeping him involved in the game plan. He's traveled to every game. And Max has got a good skill set. As a redshirt freshman from Skyview High School, I really do believe in Max. And I'm excited for him to go through last week, this week, the following weeks to continue. He's getting tons of reps now. And will the game plan, if he goes in the game, be different than Maddox? Yeah, there'll be different calls that I know Dirk will stick to. He's one of the best play callers in the country. He'll know what Max can execute. But I'm confident in Max. I'm confident how he's going to prep. He knows our offense. He can run our offense. That's so much of playing quarterback in our scheme is, can you run the show? And I know Max can. Now he's got to continue to get the reps in practice to earn that right. But I have full trust in Max. And I know how he's going to prep through these next 2 weeks till kickoff, that he's going to be ready, and he needs to be.
Spencer, just a quick follow-up on the OC. Are we assuming that Dirk is gone, or is that still part of the equation, or something you're keeping to yourself still? Or?
Yeah, Mike, somewhere I'm going to cross all those bridges at the end of the season. I know everybody wants answers. Those answers will become very clear when the season's over. Right now, we are entering postseason play, and not to hide anything, it is of no concern right now, not even for our players. It is not something I want them focused on at all. It is something that I have a good, like I said, I know what's going to happen, but I'm just not going to speak about it right now because I want everybody focused on December 31st.
There was also some talk about Eric maybe going back to Florida and some other stuff. They hired at DC today. Obviously, Eric's going to be out there shopped around. Any specific concerns about losing Eric?
Yeah, he's one of the top defensive coordinators in the country. For what he's done, obviously, I love Chins. I want him here, and he's going to continue to be sought after. No different for him and a bunch of other coaches on our staff. Guys look at the teams that have performed well, us being one of those, and they're going to look at positions of need. They're going to look at some of the stats from OD, special teams, whatever they're looking for, and our guys are going to get job offers. They're going to get a lot of money thrown at them, a lot of different things thrown at them, and I know that it's already begun. And it's my job to obviously make this a place that they want to be, that they want to grow and thrive. And we got to continue to push to raise money to make sure it's a place that financially also makes sense.
It's going to be interesting watching, as you said, as we're sitting waiting in the Fiesta Bowl for SMU and Penn State to battle. What stands out about either of those teams? If we're watching the game on the 21st, what does Penn State do best and what does SMU do best?
Yeah, it's a good question, Bob. I mean, they're both extremely well coached. Don't know Coach Franklin or Rhett Lashley personally at all, but from afar, I've just seen what they've both done. I mean, James Franklin is constantly putting his team in New Year's Six bowls and championship caliber football. I mean, they went to the Big Ten championship, went to the Peach Bowl last year. So we know we're going to get an extremely well-coached team in all three phases. Talent-wise, both teams very talented. Both teams did a really good job either in developing high school players or going to the portal last year and completely changing some of their roster points they needed. In regards to Penn State, they got a couple different first-round picks on their defense. They fly around. They're well-coached, very sound. Offensively, they put you in a lot of conflict. They have one of the best tight ends in the nation, will be the first one off the board. They do everything with them. They get in 12, 11, and they shift, motion, move guys around. I think they got great schematics. And at the end of the day, they got really good football players. I mean, their quarterback's going to be an NFL player. I believe he's coming back from what he said, but he's an NFL caliber quarterback. Special teams-wise, they got, just like everybody to play, they got explosive returners and they're sound. SMU on the flip side, I mean, Rhett Lashley's offense, they're going to go Mach 10, and they've got the athletes to do it. He did a great job, either guys he's developed or guys he's able to get from the portal. I mean, one of the top team speeds we've seen all year would be SMU at all skill positions. Quarterback, undefeated. Only loss was that last second field goal to Clemson as a starter. What he's done in the first year in the ACC, the teams they've beat and how they've been able to do. I mean, I think SMU is one of the best teams in the country. And then defensively, I know Coach Simon's well. He does a really good job mixing up the front looks, sim pressures, 5-man pressures, 6-man hits. Very, very disciplined front. One of the better D-line fronts we would have seen is SMU. And they got some DBs that can straight up lock people down. I mean, that's across the board with some of the ACC receivers you get. So either way, however the game goes on Saturday, they're going to be extremely talented, very well coached, and we're going to need to play our best. And that's what we are working to do constantly. SMU, Penn State, us, everybody else in the playoff is going down the exact same path we are. They've got coaches that are probably getting job offers. They've got players that are, getting recruited to leave, or everybody's in the same boat. I tell our staff this. I'm not going to sit around and say, well, I don't like this. This is reality. It's awesome. We're 12-1. We're about to play in the Fiesta Bowl. It's the postseason. Let's go. Put the ball down. The Broncos will be ready, and I'm fired up.
Coach, let's talk about the running back room a little bit. You got 3 guys coming back next year. In theory, do you expect all 3 of them to come back? And excuse me, how much are you playing around with that running back room? It sounds like there was a Fresno State guy in town over the weekend, so you're always looking for more options. How do you visualize that coming together? Yeah,
Mike, we're going to carry 5 scholarship running backs. We have 3. I feel really good about all 3 coming back. Feel really good about all 3 and their role on this team on offense and special teams. Obviously, Sire being the one that didn't play as much due to injury, but those 3 feel really good about and feel really good about the ceiling in that room. And then we got 2 scholarship spots, and we're obviously, with what we've been able to do offensively, with what we've been able to do in the run game, what Ash has been able to accomplish, there's a lot of people that want to come here and play running back. And the standard's very, very high. And I make that very clear with our staff and very clear with who wants to come here. And so working through this process with a bunch of running backs that want to be here.
Just to clarify, was Malachi offered the chance to stay for the bowl game?
Yeah, he was. And it's hard. I mean, I get it I love Malachi. Our conversation was awesome. I'm gonna call him later today and check in on him and see how everything's going. Malachi is a phenomenal young man. I wish him nothing but the best. But the timing is hard for a young man like that. It is. And once again, I'm not changing it. I'm not saying that to complain. But a young man that wants to go somewhere, play, and start, it's tough timing right now. And it's asking a lot for a quarterback to say, all right, you're going to go in the portal and pursue some of the places that are recruiting you. And we also expect you to game plan and do everything it takes to be ready to get in a game. It's hard. And so it was a great conversation with him, his dad, and I wish him nothing but the best. I told him, give whoever you're looking into my cell number. I want to talk to him. I want to help you. He's earned that. And I wish him nothing but the best where he goes. And so we walked that path together. And I want nothing but his success. And so he is focused on finding the next place that he can go, play, and thrive in, BJ. And I believe that's best for him. But he was given the opportunity.
There's been a little talk about changing this December transfer portal window. Is that something you'd be in favor of?
Yeah, I think just like anything, it's where are you going to move it to? Are you going to move it to spring? Are you going to move it to January? If you move it to January, now you're in school already. So what are these young men going to do that are already enrolled in classes? So I don't have the answer. And to be honest, I don't spend any time thinking about what the answer would be because that's not a decision I make. I'm making sure we handle it the best way. But I don't know. I don't have an answer of what that would look like.
You're mentioning the assistant coaches. Unless anybody leaves on their own, I mean, are you expecting all to be offered positions back next year? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the world of our staff, are there a lot of things we need to grow in, BJ? Absolutely. And am I going to have those conversations with our staff on where they're at, where their position group is at, where we need to grow to, some things that I see? Absolutely. But I love our staff. I think the world of them, and I'm excited for us and where we're going to grow to. But all of our assistant coaches, I'm going to give an opportunity to stay here, give them extensions. I believe in that. And that's something we're working through, BJ. And for me, no different. I walk every day with these coaches. This isn't, all right, you guys do your job and then we'll talk at the end of the season on my thoughts. Like, if we don't play well in a game and a position group doesn't play well, we're going to have conversations. And I'm going to see, okay, where do we miss it? Where can we grow forward? And how can I help you? And I see what nobody else sees is the work, the commitment, the teaching. And I think the world of our coaches. And every one of our coaches is in a different spot. Some of their position groups performed better than others. Some sides of the ball perform better than others. Everybody sees that. Everybody's going to have their opinion on, we like this guy, we don't like this guy. It's college football. I get that. I'm privy to see how our guys work, and I know that we have a phenomenal staff. I want these guys to be here. And I'm going to walk that, and everyone's going to be in a different place from money to rate. Like that's the world we live in. And some groups perform better than others, and we work through all that. But I love our staff, BJ. I want them here. And in the off season, once we figure out kind of who's here, and as we walk through that, I'm going to have a conversation with all of them on where we can grow forward.
How was that experience going to New York, and how well do you think Ashton represented this program?
Yeah, it was a awesome experience, and was so humbled to be able to be a part of it with him, his family. It was just so special to be a part of. I think Ashton not only represented himself, but this team, this university, in an elite way. Rocking team gear, who he was, smile on his face, how he handled questions, interviews, how he even handled not winning it, I think speaks to who he is as a person even more. And do I believe he should have won it? 100%. I believe he absolutely deserved to win it and didn't. And I know a lot of people feel the same way. And how he was able to go through even losing it was awesome. But he won the Maxwell Award. That is awarded to the best player in college football, if I'm not mistaken. He also won the Doak, which is the best running back in college football. So there's amazing things that one didn't go his way. I have my opinions. You guys have yours. I believe without question he should have. He didn't. But I'm still so fired up for Ash and the season he's had, his future to finish the season and the NFL. But I also want to continue to highlight, have we ever had someone win the Maxwell Award here at Boise State? I'm not a stats guy, but I don't think so. And testament to him being the whatever group voted on that, best football player in the country, deserved, and him being able to win the Doak Award is testament to him too. So it was an amazing experience, awesome to go through that. Obviously disappointing in the end result, but it was an awesome experience to go through.
Obviously for the Fiesta Bowl, don't need a whole lot of hyping up, but do you think he'll have a little bit more fire in his belly for that game just because of the Heisman results?
Yeah, who Ashton is, he's wired that way every single day. He was wired that way against Georgia Southern, Oregon, Portland State, and let me go down the list. Like that's who he is. He runs with a chip on his shoulder. He practices with a chip on his shoulder. So he doesn't, is he frustrated? Absolutely, deservingly so. But he's not going to show it on his face. He's going to continue to go back to what he knows, which is his work. And so regardless how Saturday would have gone, we're going to get an Ashton Jeanty that's fired up to play this game and play with his teammates. That's coming.
What conversations were had, if any, between yourself, coaches Lanning, Sanders, and Cristobal?
It was just very casual. Like saw them when we arrived, was able to talk with Coach Lanning a little bit, Coach Cristobal, and have just some good talks. I don't know them really well. I've know Dan from playing him. First time I've met Coach Cristobal in person. We just talked about where they're at and congrats on the years they've had and really small talk for a little bit and good luck in the future. Didn't have a chance to talk to Coach Prime, but it was good catching with those guys.
I have Justin Williams from The Athletic on Zoom. Justin, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you doing this. Just curious, what's your approach to relationship building when you were defensive position coach at DC, and how did that change or expand when you got the interim and eventually the head coaching job?
Yeah, good question. Relationship building, I think everything is about people for me. Like it is my job to serve our staff and serve our players. No different when I was a GA, no different when I was a position coach. It's just that bandwidth has gotten even more. And so the only way, and I've used this example before, the term coach comes from stagecoach, which is a thing that takes you places. A coach is in someone's life to take you places you can't go without them. And I tell our team that, like, if you can go and achieve everything in life with or without me, like, I'm wasting your time. But the only way to truly pull the most out of a young man or pull the most out of a staff member is to build a relationship to where he knows, I know he really cares about me. If football were to end tomorrow, is Coach D still going to have my back and push me to high standards because he loves me? No different for our staff. And so I think that's where everything starts is you don't have any level of leadership if you don't have relationships. And I've said this before, if you think you're a leader and no one's following you, you're just out for a walk. Right? Like I have to build a relationship with my players, with our staff to where they trust me that they know Spence, Coach D, that comes from a place that he cares about me. He's telling me the truth, even if it hurts or if it's what I want to hear, so I can pull them to places they can't go without me. And that's where everything starts for me. And that's where, my faith is a big part of it. My relationship with Jesus is everything. It's my foundation to where I know I answer to the scoreboard that everybody sees, the 12 promise games a year and everything else we're going to. But my scoreboard is these relationships so that I can pull the most out of these young men to be better husbands, better fathers.
Talking to you, we know that, that obviously, feel like this was almost your calling to become a coach.
Yeah.
At what point did that really start to, come into focus that, that's what you wanted to do?
When I was in college, when I was in high school, I had a great head coach at Horizon High School and Chris Johnson that, really showed me, just really gave me a love for the game of football. Even continue to grow my faith as a Christian, like at that time. Then fast forward to college at Azusa Pacific, had phenomenal coaches that just continued to build into me football-wise, a love for the game, a love for prep. And I wasn't the best athlete. The only way for me to play was to make sure I prepped and had a better understanding of what was coming. And then when I went up to coach a camp at Hume Lake, I think I was a junior at Azusa Pacific, they took like 5 or 6 college football players to this FCA camp, this Christian camp, to be able to be assistant coaches for a bunch of these high schools that did a 7-on-7. And I was a part of a high school from Fresno and was helping them, teaching them some football, what have you. And at the end of the night, this group of high school kids essentially sat around the fire and just shared their hearts. And the coach would kind of run it and say, like, what are some things at home that you're struggling with? What are some of your biggest fears in life? What could I do to help grow you? And seeing these 14 to 18-year-old kids just share their heart to this coach and tell them like about what their home life was like and just the things you'd hear that they've dealt with to that point and how much their coach, their high school coach, changed their life. And now they're going to be a high school graduate, potentially playing college. I was sitting there at this fire just crying. And chokes me up to this day. And I'm like, I want to coach. I want to have that same impact that coach did, that my coach at APU had, that my high school coach had. I don't know what that looked like. I don't know if that means I'm going to coach at APU, coach at high school, coach at wherever. But when I came down that mountain as a junior in college, I was a business major. I was going to finish. I was starting my MBA, thought I was going to get into business, try and make money. But I knew when I came down from that mountain, I'm like, I want to be a coach. And that's what I feel Jesus called me to do.
Just a couple more.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned that as a GA in 2017. I talked to someone who remembered the first time you addressed the team as a GA. Is that a moment that you remember as well?
Man, Justin, I'm trying to go back. I remember addressing the team. I couldn't tell you what I said. If you ask BJ, he'd probably tell you what I said. He remembers all my one-liners, but I don't remember it, to be honest.
Just curious, my last question for you on Maddox. He's kind of underappreciated, obviously because he has Ashton right there next to him. But kind of curious, what parts of his game this season you feel like he's improved in and played well?
Yeah, Maddox has gotten better week in and week out. He's an elite competitor. He has complete and total control of our offense. And he's continually gotten better every single week, and I think has put together a great redshirt sophomore campaign. His touchdown interception ratio, he takes care of the football. He makes the big time throws. I mean, that throw in the championship game in the back corner of the end zone to Latrell Caples, I mean, that is a big time throw on the money in a championship game. I mean, I trust Maddox through the roof. Our team trusts Maddox through the roof, and I think his best football is even in front of him. But so proud of the year he's had to date, and I know how he's prepping and how he's getting ready. He's gonna have a really good Fiesta Bowl.
Anybody else? Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks, fellas.